All right, so starting off in my 2024 Subaru WRX Limited. This is my personal vehicle, and it has been for about the last 4 months. And so in the last 4 months, I've been able to put about 2,500 miles on it. So not a ton, but I do feel like I've driven it plenty to know it really, really well, and to give you some reasons why I love this generation of WRX and think that it's the best WRX ever. So a couple reasons for why I love this WRX. So a little background, I've owned a few WRXs. My favorite of which was a 2011 Subaru WRX Premium black hatchback, and that was such a wonderful car. It had the SPT short throw shifter, the SPT exhaust, and it was my first brand new car that I had ever bought, and I'd always wanted a WRX, and I honestly couldn't have been happier with that car. It was a dream come true, especially for someone who had just lusted after them for so long, even since the original Bug-Eye came out. I even had my dad, when I was just young teenager, before I could even drive, he took me down to Nate Wade's Subaru in Salt Lake City to go and see some of the first World Rally Blue Bug-Eye WRXs, and we even took one out for a test drive, and I just wanted one ever since. And so I was so fortunate to own that 2011, and I also owned a 2004 first year WRX STI, are also in World Rally Blue. I didn't love it as much as my 2011. I just always wanted an STI with the big wing and that original blob eye style, and it was undeniably cool, but it just wasn't quite family friendly enough, I guess we could say, but very cool. And I also briefly owned a 2020 Subaru WRX STI, which was a great car. It definitely it felt its age in some ways, but also just kind of felt big, and just, it wasn't my favorite. The 2011 was still my favorite. That's probably the unpopular opinion here, but I think that was, at least for my needs as like a daily driver, that was definitely the most daily drivable. Until, I would say, this one. And this 2024, I found it for a pretty good deal, actually here in Utah, and which is where I live. And having owned a few before, I thought, you know, I've driven the VB generation before. I really liked it, and I was kind of in this crunch where I needed something with a really good, robust all-wheel drive system that I could put winter tires on and get to work confidently from where I live to Cottonwood Heights, Utah, which is where I primarily work, which is about a 30-minute drive, and I usually need to be to work pretty early, which means a lot of times the snow's not plowed, and in Bountiful especially, we get a lot of snow. In fact, as far as like residential areas go, neighborhoods, Bountiful usually gets the most along like the Salt Lake corridor, you could say. So I needed something that was going to be really great in the snow, and this thing has 100% delivered. And I don't know if that's my first reason for why I love this WRX so much, because it could go for any WRX. But I gotta say, if you're looking for something that has a back seat, you could put small kids in, or even adults back there, and have more room, definitely, than things like the GR Corolla. And you just need something that's going to be excellent in the winter. This thing, you have to get winter tires. The summer tires that come on this are no good. In fact, it says in the owner manual, like, you need to buy winter tires for this. And so I bought some, I usually buy Blizzaks, but I bought some Michelin X Ice, and they have been fantastic. Like, so good. I've gone through tons of snow, icy situations. This thing never lost traction. It was a blast to drive, and just was super confidence inspiring. I will just go to my grave saying that this car with the manual transmission and its low center of gravity with winter tires is just an unbeatable winter rig. And especially if you enjoy driving, I would say you gotta go for it. You gotta at least go check out the WRX, because it's so good for the winter. So another reason why I love this generation is primarily because of the powertrain. As Doug DeMuro has talked a lot about this, and I completely agree, Subaru knows what they're doing with the WRX at this point, and they have mastered it for this generation, at least with the powertrain. The powertrain is just so smooth. Like with my old 2011, it was like really kind of sluggish and pretty ponderous below about 2,800 RPMs. But this is very progressive, very smooth. Let's see if I can get around this Land Cruiser who's just taking his sweet time. Yeah, I mean, the power just goes all the way, and it's eager to rev, and it goes all the way up to that 6,000 RPM rev line, which, yeah, I do wish it was a little bit longer, like maybe closer to 7. But even as is, it's so fun to rev out, and you don't get that, like, and some people love that old, like, boom, boom. This is just vroom, 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 the whole way through the rev band, which is way fun. Let's just do that again here. Downshift. That is a freaking fun car, guys. So the powertrain, the motor, it's just fantastic. And as a bonus, it's shockingly efficient. Like, I remember in my 2011, the most I'd average was about 25.5. Usually it was like 24.5. But on this tank right now, driving just as you've seen me drive already, I'm averaging 28.8 miles per gallon, which is pretty good. I think that's really impressive for being full-time, all-wheel drive, flat 4, turbocharged, 270 horsepower. I do put premium in it. I don't think it's required, but I always put premium in it because it's like, at the end of the day, it's just a couple bucks more, and you get a little bit better performance and hopefully even better reliability over the long run. So yeah, 28.8. That's, I mean, even on like lower tank averages, I'm usually about 26.5. So, which is pretty excellent. I'm very, very happy with that. So another reason why I think this is the best WRX of all time is because the powertrain is fantastic. The steering has really been dialed in. The handling's very sharp, very responsive. You finally have an interior that feels good. And it's comfortable, especially these seats. I remember the seats in my 2011 were pretty much garbage. They were honestly like pretty much the regular Impreza seats, but with like the fixed headrests, you know? And they were fine, they were comfortable enough. But these seats in the Limited come with your Alcantara, this ultra suede material, and it's so good. It's so good. And they're heated, and it's just a very, very comfortable place to be, especially with this generation. You get just amazing visibility. It's just incredible. Like, this windshield is huge. These windows are just wide open. You can see so well, and like, it's just, again, confidence inspiring. It feels safe, it feels open. It's just really, really nice. Another reason why I love this, and I already kind of mentioned it, is because this back seat is actually really usable. You can fit 2 adults back there, no problem at all. And there's plenty of leg room. Headroom is a little tight, but it's just a great place. Like, it's a very practical car, and it's good for just small families and hauling a couple of friends around. So, and another thing that I just love so much about this, why this WRX I think is the best generation yet, is because it has such a great blend of modern features, safety features, wireless Apple CarPlay, all that kind of stuff, and EyeSight, which is actually like pretty cool with that adaptive cruise. But I love that it keeps like the analog gauges. They're pretty much identical from what I can tell from the previous gen, like what was in my 2020 WRX STI. But I just love them, and they look so good as they are illuminated and they sweep over as you're revving through the band. I love it. I know, you know, digital gauge clusters are available, I think, on some of the trims now, and but I'd say, man, with the Limited here and its analog gauges, can't miss. They just look great. And so, lastly, I think one of the reasons why it comes to why this is probably the best WRX generation is honestly because of the price. Which I know everything's more expensive than it was, but if you account for inflation, like, I remember my 2011 WRX Premium was like 32,700, you know, with the SVT exhaust and short throw shifter and stuff, and it didn't have anywhere near the features of this. It was nowhere near as refined. It wasn't nearly as nice inside, and for a Limited, so it's not like it's the straight trim comparison, but to jump to a Limited now, you know, you're going to be upper 30s, but still, accounting for inflation, you're getting, I think, way more car, way better car than you were just a few years ago, even with the last generation that ended in, what, 2021 or so. You're just getting a way better car for really, honestly, about the same money. And it's fantastic, and it's just so good. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. That's just a few reasons why I think this is the best WRX ever, and why I love it so much. And yes, if you're wondering, oh, well, do you like how it's styled? Because that is the thing that people initially just vomited against, myself included, honestly, because when it came out, I was like, what? That's what they came up with? But here's the truth. That's how it is with every generation of WRX. It comes out and people are like, that is so ugly. and it is, to be honest. It's ugly. But somehow Subaru's done this weird thing where over time it gets better looking. I don't know if it's because it's one of those things that, like, you spend more time with it, they become better. I don't know. It becomes better looking, but this is truly the case with this. I genuinely think this looks good, and I genuinely think that it looks at least better than the previous generation, which just felt very, very meh. This at least has some style. I like the side curves and the angles and the fender flares, and I think it all just, like, looks pretty cool. So, anyway, if I were to keep this a long time, I think it'd be awesome to do, like, a little bit of a lift, put some bigger all-terrain tires on it, and kind of, you know, safariize it. But as it is, I think it's pretty sweet. So there you have it. There's a few reasons why I think this is the best WRX ever and why I love it. And until next time, we'll see ya. Thanks, guys.